All right, my next guest picked up a split decision victory in his UFC debut over Guido Cannetti. And of course, I have Mana Martinez back on the show. Mana, how are you?
I'm doing awesome, doing well, Ryan.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. And we were talking just for a second before we went live here. And I mentioned to you that I didn't really agree with the split decision call there. To me, it seemed like you won 2 of the 3 rounds. So just run me through your thought process as you're hearing that.
So of course, here my thought process with any decision, Ryan. It's scary with the judges. So there was some doubt in my mind that I lost, but once I started backtracking the fight in my mind, and I knew I secured a couple takedowns, and the amount of times I had him up against the fence, that my hand was gonna get raised. And unfortunately, one judge didn't see it like that, but I was never really in any real threat to get finished there. He was landing a lot of leg kicks, a few body kicks, but other than that, there was nothing that really put me at threat to finish me. However, on the other hand, for me, like I just mentioned, I had him up against the fence multiple times. Took him down a couple of times. I was pushing the pressure. I was engaging the fight, and that clearly just showed that I won 2 out of the 3 rounds. And had I not gotten reversed that first round and kind of sweeped, or that little scramble where he ended up on top for a few minutes there, I think I would have took that round as well. But it's all good. I still got my hand raised at the end of the day, so I'm happy and I'm excited for that.
I was looking at the fight odds going into this matchup, Guido, and you were a huge favorite, man. Everyone was thinking you were going to come in here, put it on, and maybe get him out of there early. Did you feel that added pressure? I mean, this is your UFC debut, and there was a lot of other stuff going on that must have made it really difficult for you. Did you feel that added pressure for this fight?
I didn't. I tried not to pay attention too much to the odds, but knowing how the betting goes, I figured that I was gonna be a huge favorite. And of course, I did plan on there and cleaning house with him, but it did cross my mind, and it made me think, like, this guy's on the 3 fight losing streak, so he's fighting for his UFC career. I knew he was gonna be tough, hard to put away. Obviously, he was. So again, he was fighting for his life, and or his UFC career to say. So he survived, and didn't win the decision, but I guess it was a victory for him not to get finished by me.
Now, he landed a lot of big leg kicks early on. He had you cut above your eye. How much did any of that compromise you at all? Did it affect your ability to do everything that you normally would do?
It didn't compromise me too much. I think maybe towards the end of the fight, it didn't slow me down tremendously, but it didn't. I didn't quite have that jolt in my legs as I would have he not landed those kicks. So maybe it slightly affected me there, but other than that, nah, not too much damage. Sounded bad, I know, and it looked bad going back watching it, but I'm fine. I'm good, man. I throw leg kicks, and I dish them out. So he was dishing them out a little bit more than me, but it's all good. I'm fine.
One of the things that I found interesting, they had Dean Thomas cage side giving some analysis, and he was talking about, what you should do is step off to the side when you're switching stances to prevent the leg kicks. Is that something that your corner told you after the first round?
They mentioned something about that, and they kept saying the straight left was there, but me loving my uppercuts, I kept trying to land that uppercut, and I want to say they even mentioned that the head kick was there a little bit, but I didn't quite see him dropping his hands enough to where I could land the head kick. And I also heard in the broadcast, I want to say it was Felder who said, I should have closed the distance a little bit more. That way he couldn't get off those kicks. And looking back, I definitely should have closed the distance. That way he wasn't able to throw those kicks and land them as effective as they were landing. But just small little details that need to tweak and fix. And next time I'll be more than ready.
Now, clearly, getting in and out of there quick and getting a first round knockout or submission is always a nice thing, and that's something that you're kind of used to recently. You're finishing people very, very fast. But was it almost kind of nice in a sense to be in the cage for 15 minutes, to feel that, to understand that you have that cardio and overcome a little adversity?
Yes, and show everybody that I have that dog in me. A lot of people, like you just mentioned, see that I've only been in there one, maybe close to the second round, or a very few minutes into the second round. But being able to show for my first fight at that, going all 15 minutes, it shows a lot. And I never really took one step back. I was always pushing the pace, so shows that I got that toughness, that grit, and it's good octagon time. Especially for my first one being in there. I now know what it feels like to go 15 minutes. So mentally, that barrier's been broken in my head, and physically, I was in great shape. Minus a little bit of a hiccup on a weight cut, but it'll all get fixed, and I'll straighten those things out. But it's definitely good to go all 15 in there, and would have much rather have gotten in and out of their first round, but I'm also excited, and I'll take a victory for going all 15 as well.
Now, your opponent, Cannetti, he's 41 years old. Do you have a new respect for 40-year-olds now at this point?
Uh, and somewhat the way his people have been coming at me in my comments and stuff is kind of funny. So it's whatever for him. But I guess you could say I was always taught to respect my elders, so I didn't want to whoop up on that old man too much. So for all these people coming at me in these comments, I can't even understand or read what they're saying in their language. They can kick rocks, and like I said, I respected my elders that night, and I didn't whoop up on them too much.
Okay, good enough. I had to ask. The age discrepancy there was a little significant. Now, you did mention earlier that you missed weight. You came in at 140 pounds. What can you point towards as to the reasoning for that, and what are you going to do moving forward just to make sure that that doesn't happen again?
Honestly, Ryan, it was my mistake, and me having to be quarantined, because obviously I was supposed to fight the Saturday prior, and I tested positive, so that kind of forced me and put me into quarantine. Couldn't quite train, stuck at the house in my room, so I had a little bit too many snacks, I guess, and I went up a little bit higher in my weight than I should have. So that's, I guess, the reasoning for it. But other than that, um, from here on out, I won't miss weight. I know exactly what I did wrong, and I'll take all the blame for it. So there's no excuses there. Um, Technically, kind of took that fight on like 6 days notice, 7 days notice, maybe even less. So for me to even, you know, come that close in weight was still surprising to me, because I dropped quite a bit. But and that's all besides the point. I'll be more than ready next time and come in on weight every single time from here on out.
Now, you mentioned you tested positive. Obviously, you're talking about COVID. What were your symptoms? Did you have anything too significant?
Honestly, no, not really. Um, that's what kind of made me didn't want to believe that I had it, because I felt fine. I was going into my last strength and conditioning, feeling great. My weight was on point. I was getting down to where I needed to be. And then I got a call that I tested positive, and I didn't quite believe it. So did I have it? Who knows? I ended up testing negative 3 times, like 2-3 days later. So it's like, man, I don't know. It's all good though. Got past it, and I'm healthy. I'm fine. Very thankful and blessed that I am recovering well, I guess to say.
That's definitely good to hear. What was the overall experience like for your UFC debut? The nerves that people talk about, your first time octagon jitters. Like, did you have any of that? I mean, just tell me, looking back at it now, what it all was like.
This was actually one of the more cool and calm fights that I've had in a while. A few back then, I remember I remember being super nervous, but this one was very cool, calm, and I don't know if I had that feeling that Coach Saul was with me. My Coach Saul was with me regardless, and that's what helped me keep my calmness and my cool. But it was a good experience. I wasn't too nervous. Of course, there were the nerves there, but awesome experience overall. I'm ready to do it again. I'm already in the talks with my manager and hoping to squeeze one more out before the end of the year. So it was a very exciting and great experience overall.
Now, obviously, you mentioned, your coach Saul that passed 11 days before the fight due to COVID. First of all, I'm very sorry for your loss. I know how difficult that must be. How how much did that affect you? Leading up to the fight and everything, because I got to imagine it was weighing on your heart pretty significantly.
It didn't affect me too much because I try to block it out and try to just keep it all in. Remember, some sessions I just find myself thinking about him or him, flashing back to when he was there for my contender series, and I just had to kind of put that to the side and just focus on the fight. But obviously, after all my emotions just poured out, not only were those, tears for me mourning with his due to his loss, but that was tears of joy as well. It was all my emotions just being poured out. It's been a long journey for me. Since contender series there, turning my contract in my hometown. It's really only the beginning, but it was a very emotional victory, and as you could tell, everything was just poured out post fight. But leading up to the fight, I did my best to keep it all in and just keep that tunnel vision.
Can you talk a little bit about, what Coach Saul meant to your career up to this point, everything like he was to you? And just, I mean, I understand he was a pretty big figure in Houston as far as MMA goes anyways. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about that?
Man, he was a big figure, not only in Houston but worldwide. I remember him telling me stories about how he used to go to Japan with Tito guys and a few other of his fighters, Coleman, and how well respected they were over there. So he was definitely known worldwide. But for Texas, he put it on the map for everybody. Crazy thing is, my dad actually fought for his promotion. So he was lucky enough to compete when Coach Saul was, the local promotion, the only local promotion running, and he kind of opened the doors for all the rest of these promotions. And very, thankful for that. We all are here in the Houston MMA, Texas MMA community. But as for me personally, he was really like a second father figure to me. Um, you know, I've said it when I needed to be treated like a father or like a son. He treated me like a son. When I needed to be treated like a fighter, he treated me like a fighter. Like he knew how to draw those lines, those boundaries, and treat me the certain ways I needed to be treated, and was very straightforward. Didn't sugarcoat anything ever. As real as they come, Coach Saul was definitely one of them. And I can't be more than thankful and blessed in the period of time that I had him in my life. And I've spoke about it before. After my first pro loss, he came up to me and reassured me that I was still good and offered his gym doors open to me, and my career took off from then on. And it's just crazy how much he helped me in such a short period of time. And I know he's gonna always be in my corner, looking down on me. So just super blessed and thankful to have him and the time that he was around.
Yeah, very well said. Again, very sorry for your loss, but I have no doubt he's looking down, smiling, and is extremely proud of what you accomplished, and is excited for what's coming next. And you did say that you're hoping to get another fight in before the end of the year. What is the time frame? Are you going to take a little bit of time off right now and then hop back in camp and hope a fight can happen maybe November or December, or are you thinking
E-
even sooner than that?
Exactly. So from what I've heard, late November, early December is the time frame that I'm shooting to get back in there. So, I'm just enjoying myself in this victory for the week being, but I'll be back in the gym soon and back to training. Of course, even when I'm not in the gym right now, I'm still studying. Like I've watched the fight at least 10 plus times, and I've kind of seen what mistakes I made and how I can fix it. And you know, I'm still being a student of the game, even not in the gym. But I'm excited, man. It's gonna be another fun one, and I can't wait to see who they place in front of me.
Yeah, and I know you're one of the new guys here in the promotion, so calling someone out, it might not, get the attention of Dana or Sean, but is there someone that you feel like would make sense, or are you just gonna, put down whoever they line up in front of you?
The division is so deep, like I don't even know. I haven't really looked at any names, but I'm willing to fight anyone, everyone, even for this last fight. Not this last fight, but the one prior when I was supposed to fight Strader. He ended up having to pull out. They replaced another guy. I told my manager, yeah, let's do it. They replaced another guy. I said, yep, let's do that one. Then the final one was supposed to be Trevin or whatever his name was. I said, yes, let's do it again. So I'm willing to fight anybody. I'm game for anybody. Um and yeah, I'm ready to scrap. I'm ready to bang, man. Whoever they bring place in front of me, I'm gonna accept and be more than willing and more than ready to do it.
Yeah, I have no doubt. Well, again, congratulations on your UFC debut victory over Guido Cannetti. Always a pleasure talking to you, Mana. Before I let you go, man, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where to follow you on social media, and if you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Of course, at Monoboy7 on Instagram, Twitter, and thank you everybody who's been supporting me, especially back home in Houston. All the love goes to everybody, and I'm ready to continue this journey. Got the first one out of the way, so let's keep doing it.